Hey everybody, Jimmy Smith back to own my picks for UFC 313. Pardon me if I look a little tired. I am tired. I was calling a fight in Long Beach, California, Saturday night for Pro Box TV. Great stuff, but I'm jet lagging today. Anyway, so to start off UFC 313 main card, it was Mauricio Rufy, Bobby Green. I picked Mauricio Rufy. I said by knockout if you want to make some money because he was a pretty heavy favorite, an early knockout, and that's exactly what happened. Wheel kick knockout, round number 1. Early in this fight, watching them fight one another, it looked like Street Fighter and two guys had picked the same character because they were both kind of doing this unorthodox stuff and these awkward, funky movements. The difficulty for a style like Bobby King Green, is as you get a little older and your timing goes down a little bit, you're not quite as fast as you used to be, that style tends to fall apart. You tend to have difficulty later on in your career because you're just not as fast and your timing isn't as good as it was when you were younger. And Bobby Green just really seems to not have the physical tools to use the style that got him where he is. Best example in combat sports of that is Roy Jones Jr., who, when he slowed down a little bit, it was like he just went off a cliff. Was not the same guy. Guys with general fundamentals, hands up, chin down, who don't try to do as much physically. Bernard Hopkins, great example. He aged very, very well. We see the same thing in MMA. Jim Miller is just solid. He doesn't drop his hands and try to use his athleticism a lot. Bobby Green does, and it looks like he just doesn't have the athleticism anymore to pull off that style. But Mauricio Rufy threw a beautiful spinning wheel kick, 207 in round number 1, forced him to the ground. Boom! That was a bad knockout, but great technique for Rufy. Outstanding knockout. But so I'm 1-0. Mauricio Rufy by knockout over Bobby Green. Amanda Lemos, Yasmin Lucindo. I knew I was wrong immediately in this one. So I picked Lucindo, younger than Amanda Lemos. She's only 23 years old. Lemos is 37. I thought maybe she might have more physically in the tank and be able to kind of push the pace and wear Lemos out. When she played the outside early, I went, she's going to lose. Folks, listen to me. If you ever want to fight, if you want to train people to fight, you have to play to your strengths. There's no right build for MMA. There's no right style for MMA. There can be a right age. I mean, you want to be young, but you have to play to the advantages you have. It isn't about having advantages. It's about playing to those advantages. And if you're 23 and your opponent's 37 and she's been through the ringer against top talent and you haven't yet, push the pace the whole time. Push the pace early. Make it about your youth and your explosiveness and your gas tank and all these things. And don't get in a chess match. An older fighter can win that kind of fight. Don't make it a ground game. An older fighter can win that kind of fight. They can't win an explosive kickboxing battle if you really push the pace. And it was clear from the beginning that Lucindo just wasn't willing to do that. She was a little gun shy, and it could have been the inexperience in big fights, but she didn't push it the way she had to. I remember her coach going off on her in between rounds. I believe it was between the second and third round, like, what are you doing? You're fighting at her pace. Lemos got the takedown in the first round, was able to work on top, and that's exactly what an older fighter wants. Is, all right, great, let's go to kind of a grinding, top game battle. I can stay safe. You're not going to catch me from your guard, and I can outwork you. And Lucinda was never able to make it about her physicality until round 3. She got on top, and it was too late by that point. You're not going to, submit Lemos easily from top position. And yeah, you can ground and pound her. Maybe you won that round, but it's not going to win you the fight. So I thought Lucindo fought the kind of fight that played perfectly into the strengths of Amanda Lemos. She was experienced. They want a slow chess match. And Lucindo didn't make it a different kind of fight. And so it was a unanimous decision for Amanda Lemos. I thought Lucindo fought a terrible fight, but I was wrong on that one. So 1-1. So Ignacio Bahamondes, Jalen Turner. I picked Jalen Turner. I thought his build would give Ignacio Bahamondes some problems because he just has a strange build, whatever he is, 6'3" for the lightweight division. Went to the ground early in the fight. Jalen Turner was hitting some good ground and pound. Then he gets in a position, if you know jiu-jitsu, where you're in triangle danger, right? This what they call a forklift pass. You're trying to get underneath the legs, and his arm got inside, and he gets out and then goes right back into triangle position. If you watch it, I was like, what are you doing? I don't want to give a jiu-jitsu lecture here, but I have my ADCC shirt on from calling ADCC. So when you're in triangle danger, you beat it with posture, right? You get out by looking up and pulling out of the situation, okay? He pulls out and then kind of dives back in for the pass and ends up in the triangle again. Once you beat a triangle with posture, you have to keep the posture because the guy will suck you right back into that triangle position, and that's what he did. For the old heads, this is a kind of obscure fight. It was Dennis Kang versus Gegard Mousasi in Dream. He was in triangle trouble and then came down with a hammer fist and landed right in the triangle. And, Gegard finished him. And I'm like, just don't come down in the triangle. And that's exactly what Jalen Turner did. A real rookie mistake as far as the jiu-jitsu went. And Bahamondes had a really good triangle. He tightened it up real good, real fast. And it was over. Ends up getting submission in round number 1. But a real, once again, rookie mistake for a guy as experienced as Jalen Turner. And you do kind of wonder where his head is. He says he's going to retire. Bahamondes says not to do it. He can still have some good fights, but that was really like a what are you doing kind of moment. I mean, everything's going your way. You're as I said with the Lemos fight, if you're on top and you're landing decent ground and pound, it's really hard to catch a veteran guy. They just know how to stay, and gal. They know how to stay out of those kinds of positions. And Jalen Turner lands right in one, gets out, and goes right back into it. You do wonder kind of where his head is in this game. But, great early submission for Ignacio Bahamondes over Jalen Turner. Wins by triangle, 229 in round number 1. So I'm 1-2. Can I get it back in the co-main and main? Yes, I can. Justin Gaethje, Rafael Fiziev. What I said about this fight is I picked Justin Gaethje, and what I said was Fiziev probably looks pretty good in round number 1, but he's going to taper off in a big way, and you can't beat Justin Gaethje without giving it everything you got, and I don't think he's going to have the ability. Now, that's exactly what happened, by the way. Justin Gaethje by unanimous decision over Rafael Fiziev. The worst feeling, by the way, in combat sports is, man, do I have enough gas? It's a horrible feeling to go into a fight knowing, God, I can't do everything I need to do because I didn't have a full camp, blah, blah, blah. And almost from the beginning, you could read it through the screen to me about Rafael Fiziev, that he was going, like he wanted to do more, but he had to pace himself and he wasn't sure. And it made him more gun shy than you need to be against Justin Gaethje. I could see him almost like wanting to throw the right hand and going, got to hold it back. Because you have two options. When you don't have gas, you didn't have a long camp, you can really pace yourself, or you can throw the kitchen sink in round number 1 and hope to get the guy out of there. Fiziev chose the first option of, all right, I got to pace myself. Well, it made him hesitate in certain moments. It made him clinch a lot in exchanges where, he was throwing punches and then he would kind of hold on because he just didn't have the gas to keep going. And it was obvious to me from round number 1 is like he's trying to conserve his gas. Justin Gaethje had a full camp. Justin Gaethje is a very hard puncher. He's a very busy striker. He's not going to let you rest. He's just not going to give you the breaks you need to conserve energy. And it was clear at the end of round 1, I was like, Fiziev's got no chance in this fight. Not that he didn't land good punches and do great things, but, Gaethje's got a chin. You're not going to easily take that guy out. And it's disappointing. My grappling coach, Manny Suarez, here in Boca Raton, we were talking about this fight. He was, man, I'm really excited about this fight because Fiziev's so exciting and Gaethje's so exciting. I said, without a full camp, Fiziev, I'm sorry, did I say Fiziev? I think I did. I'm tired. Fiziev and Gaethje, man, I'm so excited about these guys. And I said, Fiziev just doesn't have the gas. This is the only sport, combat sports period, 'cause it happens in boxing too, where you are dropped in without preparation and expected to compete at the elite level. And it's almost enough guys win that we know it can be done. But to ask a guy to come in late notice against Justin Gaethje it's an uphill battle to say the least. And Fiziev did everything he could. I really like that guy. He still gave us an exciting fight, still really entertaining. But to beat Justin Gaethje with very little notice and no real camp, really hard to do. And he gave it his best, but once again, it was clear at the end of round 1 that he did not have the gas to finish out this fight, and Gaethje ends up winning the fight by unanimous decision in a very entertaining fight. Hats off to Rafael Fiziev. Hopefully, UFC does him right, and he gets some big opportunities after this. So, it happened exactly the way I thought it would. Justin Gaethje by unanimous decision. So I'm 2-2 into the main event. Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira. I called Magomed Ankalaev. I said by decision. I said in a fight the crowd is booing. Ta-da! That's exactly what happened. Now, people in the comment section, and I appreciate, I have some really educated fans. Seriously, you guys are freaking awesome. But there were some comments about, oh, Ankalaev's not a great wrestler. I didn't think it would look like, I don't know, a Bo Nickel fight where he goes in and takes him down easily. He's not fantastic in terms of like a Randy Couture, a DC, anything like that. But he's got a grinding kind of style. And so I didn't think he'd go in there and just immediately take him down, but he would make it kind of 1-2 into a clinch, 1-2 into a clinch, grind. That didn't happen the entire fight. It happened a lot in the last round. But what I thought is that he would have enough grappling background to make it a slog. And what was interesting, it was a slog, but it was more a kickboxing slog. And I know Ankalaev is getting a lot of crap for having a really boring fight, but I see his point at the end at the press conference going, hey, look, I threw more than he did. I pushed the pace more than he did. I was more aggressive than he was. Why is it my fault that we had a boring fight? Fair enough. The issue to me is Pereira never looked comfortable. He never looked comfortable, even though it was mostly on the feet. It was, all on the feet, really. He could never really time Ankalaev. I know it's southpaw versus orthodox, but, a guy with Pereira's kickboxing experience, he's seen a lot of southpaws. The whole, oh, my God, it's a southpaw thing. If you're a really experienced striker, you see a lot of southpaws. So I don't think that was so much the issue. Maybe it was the herky-jerkiness of Ankalaev, the constant pressure of Ankalaev. It reminded me a little bit, although it was a more entertaining fight, Fedor versus Krokop in Pride. Fedor kept walking Krokop down, and so Krokop could never load his southpaw high kick. He could never do it because he's always moving backwards. And what Fedor did was he basically dared Krokop to box with him because he knew if he could eliminate the footwork, he could eliminate the kick, that it would be a boxing match, and Fedor was confident boxing with Krokop. He ended up winning that fight. It was a similar kind of thing here where you got that sense, even though Pereira isn't necessarily known for his kicking as much as his punching in MMA, he kept having to reload and reset because he was constantly moving backwards. And he could never, easily fire the shot. And I think what we're learning about Pereira is he's incredibly powerful moving forward. He has these really awkward punches. But when you make him reset and move back the whole time, it's hard for him to time that big punch. Especially maybe the southpaw stance did do something, but he could never load the shot. He was always kind of reloading and trying to figure it out. And Ankalaev was kind of in his face. Threw a big shot at the end of round number 3, that big overhand left, buckled his legs. That was the best shot of the fight by either guy. But it was Ankalaev's herky-jerky kind of style. And then in round number 4, we saw that 1-2 clinch, clinch kind of style to kind of seal the deal and kind of keep Pereira out of the fight, and ended up winning. And we have a new champion with a crowd literally booing. So the problem the UFC has, and I'll do a separate video about this, is they have a little bit of a champions problem right now. They have a lot of champions who, deserve to be where they are. They're number 1, but they lost a big star as far as champions go in Pereira, and they replaced it with a guy who not a lot of fans are going to get behind. He has a style where he'll do whatever it takes to win, but isn't necessarily the most aesthetic style in the world. But you have a new champ in Ankalaev who was able to take the game completely away from Pereira. So exactly what I expected. Ankalaev, new champion by decision in a bit of a grind. So 3-2 on the night. Not too bad. Appreciate all of you. Give me a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you before and after the next fight.